So today is December 6th, 2019, and today is the 30th anniversary of one of the darkest days in recent Canadian history. This is the 30th anniversary. This marks the 30 years ago that some crazy, screwed up madman named Marc Lépine, who for whatever reason had a problem with women, decided to go on a shooting spree at the University of Montreal. And by the time he'd finished shooting, he had murdered 14 innocent women, and I think he had injured 27 more. I might be a little bit off on the injured number, but he murdered 14 women and injured several more. And what drove him to do this? He had some kind of axe to grind with feminists. He hated feminists. He didn't even know if these women that he shot, these innocent victims, whether or not they were feminists. And even if they were feminists, that does not give you the right to go being violent towards them. So, a couple of things that is significant things about that. Number one, December 6th, it's become basically a day to stand up to violence against women, number one. Number two, it's also caused Canada to strengthen some of their gun laws. I believe it was an AK-47 assault rifle that he used to murder and injure these women. So some of our gun laws have been tightened up, even though, in my opinion, our gun laws are not tight enough. In my opinion, the only people that should be allowed to have guns are police officers, armored car guards, such as guards, like, example, Brinks guards that go around picking up huge quantities of money. I believe they need to have firearms to protect themselves in case they get robbed. Game wardens, prison guards, and people that are hunting. If they're going out animal hunting legally, then I don't have any objections to them using firearms, as long as they're hunting those animals legally and they have the proper permits for those. But other than that, I don't think the ordinary average citizen should be able to have a gun. So I think our gun laws need to be strengthened up. It's a matter of fact, I think that anyone who is caught illegally, like possessing a firearm, possessing any kind of gun that they're not legally supposed to have, should get life in jail with no chance of parole ever. Like, we really need to crack down on this. And as for the problem that he had with feminists, first of all, I do know of some women who have taken feminist studies in post-secondary school. Feminism, I know there are some people that have twisted feminism and perverted it to mean something that it doesn't. Feminism does not mean male bashing or male hating. Basically, feminism is about equality for women and girls and affording women and girls the same opportunity that men and boys have. Feminism is not about female superiority. And I believe that most feminists are just looking for equality for women and girls. They're not looking for female superiority, the majority of them. I know that there are some extreme feminists, militant feminists who are male haters, male bashers. And I think they're scum. And for obvious reasons, being a man, I wouldn't want anything to do with them. But even if people have views that you don't support, no matter how strongly you disagree with those views, you do not have the right to use violence against them. The only time you have the right to use violence against anyone is if it's in self-defense. If someone threatens or uses violence against you first, then yeah, you have the right to defend yourself using reasonable force. But just because you disagree with someone's views does not give you the right to use violence towards them. I would like to see, laws around violence and firearms, around violent crimes in general and sex crimes. I'd like to see them strengthened up and make it to the point that people are actually afraid to break the law, afraid to commit violence and afraid to commit sex crimes. Here in Canada, maybe we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. My condolences to those 14 women who sadly and needlessly lost their lives, and my condolences to the rest of the women that were injured and traumatized by that event, and as a matter of fact, to anyone who was traumatized by that event, whether it be family members, friends, people that were just traumatized hearing about it. My condolences to them. I would just like to see a day when we live in a much safer, much less violent world. I know that Canada is a lot safer than many other countries around the world, but still, having said that, there's lots of room for improvement.